Let's get right into it. Number 9. Retro Tupperware. That ancient Tupperware container hiding in the back of your mom's cabinet with the mysterious orange stain might be worth hundreds of dollars. Those harvest gold and avocado green containers from the 70s that look like they were designed by someone who really hated eyeballs. Collectors are fighting over them. They're selling for up to $200 each. The weird pastel ones from the 50s and 60s are worth even more. Some complete sets are going for over $2,000. The weirder the color combination, the better. That puke green container with the mustard yellow lid is a jackpot. They have to be genuine Tupperware though, not those knockoff containers you got from the dollar store that warped in the microwave after one use. The real vintage stuff was built like a tank. It survived countless potlucks, family reunions, and that time someone accidentally left tuna salad in it for a month. Number 8. Vintage lunchboxes. Your grandma's attic has this old metal lunchbox with Superman on it. Don't throw that out. That beat-up box that probably still smells like 50-year-old tuna sandwiches could be worth thousands. The 1954 Superman lunchbox sold for $11,500 at auction. The most valuable lunchbox ever sold wasn't even a popular character. It was a 1954 Toppy the Elephant lunchbox that went for $16,000. A forgotten cartoon elephant worth more than some cars. Almost nobody kept their Toppy lunchboxes. Kids didn't think an elephant was cool, so they trashed them. Now they're super rare. Not every old lunchbox is worth big money. That Ninja Turtles box from 1990 might get you $50 if you're lucky. The real money is in metal boxes from the 1950s and early 1960s. If you find one with the matching thermos still intact, that's like finding a matching pair of socks in the dryer. A complete set can double or triple the value. Number 7. Old Starbucks mugs. You know that old Starbucks mug sitting in the back of your cabinet? The one you got way back when there were only like 3 Starbucks in your entire city? You might want to dig that out. Back in the 1990s, before Starbucks was basically everywhere, they made these city-specific mugs that are now worth insane money. We're talking about their City Series mugs, where each one had unique artwork showing landmarks from different cities. Some of these mugs are selling for up to $2,500 each. That $12 mug you bought on a business trip could now buy you about 500 grande lattes. The most valuable ones are from cities where Starbucks didn't last long, or from their first international locations, like the Kuwait City mug from 1999. It's basically the holy grail of Starbucks collectors. The store closed after just a few months, making these mugs super rare. The most valuable ones are usually the ones with spelling errors or design mistakes that got pulled from shelves. So next time you're cleaning out your kitchen cabinets, maybe think twice before tossing that old coffee mug. And if you're thinking, no way my old mug is worth anything, a guy in Seattle thought the same thing until he sold his 1994 Seattle mug for $1,800. Number 6. Single designer earrings. You know that feeling when you lose one earring and your soul dies a little inside? Turns out that lonely earring sitting in your drawer might be worth more than you think. For every person who lost the right earring, there's someone out there who lost the left one. It's like a really expensive game of matchmaking, except instead of finding love, you're finding the other half of a $500 Chanel earring, and these people aren't just casually looking, they're desperate. Imagine spending $2,000 on Cartier earrings and losing one of them at a party. That's like buying a Ferrari and having someone steal one of the wheels. You're not going to just give up and buy a new pair. You're going to hunt down that missing piece like it's your lost child. And this is where your worthless single earring comes in. People will literally pay 60 to 70% of the original pair's price just for one earring. Your lonely little earring could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. There are entire online communities dedicated to matching up single designer earrings. It's like a dating site, but for abandoned jewelry. So next time you lose an earring, don't throw its partner away in a fit of rage. That single earring might just pay for your next shopping spree. Number 5. Antique cast iron pans. That heavy black pan collecting dust in your grandma's basement? Yeah, the one you were thinking of throwing out because it's all crusty and rusty. Hold on to that thing like it's made of gold, because it might as well be. Some of these old cast iron pans are selling for thousands of dollars, and I'm not talking about special commemorative pans or anything fancy. Just regular old cooking pans from companies that don't even exist anymore. Take Griswold pans, for example. These things were made in Erie, Pennsylvania, until the 1950s. They're considered the Rolls-Royce of cast iron cookware. A rare Griswold spider skillet with legs on it recently sold for $8,000. Back in the day, these pans were just basic kitchen tools. People used them, abused them, and passed them down when they died. The older ones have a smoother cooking surface than anything made today. Modern pans are rough and pebbly because they're cast in automated molds. Those old-timers were hand-polished, every single one. Here's how you know if your crusty old pan is worth something. Flip it over and look for names like Griswold, Wagner, or Erie. If you see made in China, better luck next time. And if it's got a heat ring, that's a raised ring on the bottom, you might have hit the jackpot. Even if it's not worth thousands, it's still probably better than any pan you can buy new. A rusty old pan can be restored with some elbow grease and cooking oil. Number 4. Retro gaming magazines. Those old gaming magazines your mom threw out might have paid for your college. The first issue of Nintendo Power from 1988 is worth up to $1,000 if it's in good condition. Family Computer Magazine had a special Dragon Quest issue back in 1986. It sold for $2,800 because it had an intact poster of the game map, a piece of paper worth more than a modern gaming PC. Electronic Gaming Monthly's first issue from 1989 recently sold for $3,500. It had a typo on the cover. Someone's printing mistake is now worth more than 3 months of rent. Game Fan magazine used to include holographic cards with some issues. One of these cards, showing Sonic the Hedgehog, sold for $1,200, more than what some of the actual Sonic games are worth today. People still find these magazines at garage sales for 50 cents. Number 3. Old circuit boards. You've got broken electronics collecting dust. That old laptop that died 2 years ago, or that TV from 2010 you're using as an expensive shelf. They might be tiny gold mines. Literally, inside every circuit board there's actual gold. Gold is one of the best electrical conductors out there. It also doesn't corrode like other metals. That's why manufacturers use it in those tiny circuits that make your electronics work. Each device only contains a tiny amount, but 1 ton of old circuit boards contains about 40 to 800 times more gold than 1 ton of gold ore from a mine. Yeah, you heard that right. Your local dump might have more gold per ton than an actual gold mine. This is why urban mining is becoming a big deal. Companies are paying good money for old circuit boards. Some places will give you up to $8 per pound for the really good ones. And it's not just gold. These boards also contain silver, platinum, and other precious metals. Don't try to extract the gold yourself, though. It's dangerous. We're talking nasty chemicals and toxic fumes. Plus, you need a lot of circuit boards to make it worthwhile. Next time you're about to throw out that broken phone or dead laptop, remember you're not throwing away trash. You're throwing away literal gold. Number 2. Old comic books without superheroes. Superman comics can sell for millions, but there's gold in those boxes of old romance and horror comics. Tales from the Crypt issue number 12 from 1952 sold for $126,000. A comic about zombies and monsters, not Superman or Batman. Back in the 1950s, parents thought these horror comics were corrupting their kids. These comics were brutal. Some stories showed people getting their heads chopped off or being eaten alive by monsters. Parents started burning these comics. Churches organized actual comic book bonfires. They destroyed so many that finding one today is like finding buried treasure. Romance comics from the 40s and 50s are worth thousands. Young Romance number 1 from 1947 sold for $18,000. Most people threw these away thinking they were worthless. Even crime comics from the 50s are valuable. Crime Does Not Pay issue number 22 sold for $38,000. Condition is everything. If they're torn or missing pages, they might be worth nothing. In good shape, you might be sitting on new car money. Number 1. Empty perfume bottles. Vintage perfume bottles from the 1920s and 30s sell for thousands of dollars. Lalique made perfume bottles that look like they belong in a fairy tale. One of their empty crystal bottles from 1912 sold for $216,000. That's enough to buy a house. Jean-Paul Gaultier bottles shaped like a human torso from the 90s sell for $500 online. Chanel No. 5 bottles from the 1950s sell for $1,000. Empty, no perfume. Some collectors don't even care if they're damaged. They buy broken pieces. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.